So obviously the opportunity for the continent is quite immense. And I think if you look at the countries like Rwanda, like South Africa, like Seychelles and all those countries leverage tourism as a quite big contributor to their GDP. So I think in the areas of soft power, those countries telling their story and sharing the story with the world, in many ways it helps to build the reputations of those countries and grow their tourism and other investments in other areas. It's been Africa's opportunity since 1963 to assert itself, but unfortunately we have not done that as well as we should have. And as a result, it is now the playground for everybody else. And what it's done it at the expense of Africa's development. And of course, when you look at the continent itself, you look at the balance of the challenges while we're focusing on putting food on the table, roofs over heads, and building roads. And that have come at the expense of looking at how we can leverage the tourism, because Africa is quite gifted when it comes to nature and nurture. It's quite gifted in the area of tourism or nature and wildlife or the fauna and flora. And as a result of our focus on the basics, we haven't had the opportunity to invest in those areas as well as we can, bar a few countries. But the opportunity is there. There's no question about it. And there's no question about it that when Africa really leverages this opportunity and the potential of tourism, it will go a long way towards helping to rebuild the continent. Of course, it can help with prioritization in terms of if every country understands what it is, what makes it different, what makes it distinctive rather, and what makes it a competitive power player in the world. And that's, I think, the opportunity for the continent as well, is to really define the different countries differently instead of seeing the continent as one big country, is looking at it as 54, 55 countries, all with different levels of development, but also understanding the competitive advantages of the different countries, because we cannot all compete for the big five, Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania. We should find the differences in each country, and that's what's going to help as well in terms of repositioning the continent. It's very important for Africa or any African country to be part of these global summits, because we're getting to learn what the different countries, what they're doing different. I mean, small countries like Bhutan, looking at what they're doing from sustainable tourism. Could be lessons for many other countries in Africa, which have got resources, or we go to tourism products which are quite unique to the continent. And if you look at what Bhutan does with high value, low impact tourism, that contributes towards sustainable tourism, if you will. And if you look at the fact that the continent has got so many people who really depend on tourism for their livelihoods, then it speaks to regenerative tourism as well, in terms of how the communities can work well with the tourism products. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to be here, and I think we should all be here, not just as Africans, but everywhere in the world, because just as much as we can learn from the world can also learn from us. Well, I'm just amazed at the increasing quality of conversations around here, because I think the diversity of the people that you brought here, whether it's people from Italy, whether it's looking at academia, what you do with Middlesex University, or whether it's bringing people like Sir John Major here, it shows just the level of discourse that takes place around here. So I think it's been fascinating and illuminating to be part of these conversations.